UFC 308 is the best card that we have gotten since UFC 300. But before we talk about it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, clock in, fight fans, and let's get ready to talk about some MMA.
The one, the only, the notorious!
You know, after news came out about the UFC Sphere and we didn't see Max and ILLIA TAPORIA on that card, you know, I'm going to say right now, that Sphere card is looking very average. Very, very average. It looks like a normal to below average pay-per-view. And what confused me is Dana White did say it was going to be an epic pay-per-view, a once-in-a-lifetime event, but that's not the card we got. But besides that, everybody was saying, where's Max Holloway and TAPORIA? Where's Max Holloway and TAPORIA? We couldn't find them. But here is where they're at. We did not know at that time that UFC was absolutely cooking in the kitchen. This UFC 308 card is an absolute banger, man. I'm telling you this. This is by far, and I mean by far, the best event we've ever had since UFC 300. Which is, there's only been 8, but they've all been, you know, kind of stinkers. I'm trying to think of one right now. We had the Tracy Cortez. Here's the list of events that we have had. I'm gonna read it off on my monitor. We had Makhachev vs. Poirier, which was actually a pretty good event. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty good event, but not a lot of star power on the event. The main card was really the, you know, the what carried it. Then we had Pantoja versus Dan. I think don't know how to pronounce his name, but that was absolutely a boring fight. We had Namajunas versus Cortez. Pereira versus Yuri but that card was trash. That card was trash because Diego Lopez pulled out, Connor pulled out. Yeah, no, that one wasn't good. It's just a main event. We have Whitaker versus Aliskerov, which was really good. We had a good knockout, but like not really the best card, I would say. We had Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. We had Edwards versus Bilal. That was an okay event. I would then, you know, the main event, I'm gonna be honest, of that one was pretty good. I do give that one respect. I really was entertained thoroughly. Yeah, so those are some of the events we've had. So this one has been like really, really good, like a fight card, you know, ever since then. We really have trying to go back to normal form in the UFC, which makes me happy, you know, putting the whole main card of being absolute bangers. So I'm going to break down the fights right now. I'm not going to break them down like give my predictions, but I'm going to break down the fights that we did get. So obviously in the main event, we have ILLIA TAPORIA versus Max Holloway, which is a fight that does promise, you know, absolute damage and slugfest, man. Most importantly, damage, because they're going to sit in the middle of the ring and they're going to box. ILLIA TAPORIA, I think he's going to get cocky on his feet. I think he's going to try to box with Max Holloway. There are two very good boxers, and that's going to be a hard 50-50 fight to break down. So we're going to have to, you know, put our detective glasses on. Clocked in MMA is going to have to go detective mode, and we're going to have to break down this fight. We're just not doing that right now, though, because I need time to break it down myself and study. And remember, guys, videos are going to come out for the other fights. We're going to break them down. We're going to give our predictions. But first, guys, can we please subscribe? Because we need to get to 50 subscribers. That is the goal. At 50 subscribers, YouTube does allow us to stream. And I do want to do fight watch parties with you guys on the stream. That would be really fun. Just make sure to hit the subscribe button, and we'll get that very soon. Then we have a controversial co-main event. Very controversial in Robert Whitaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. You've heard me right. This is not the first time they're booking it. This is actually the second time. Khamzat Chimaev did pull out the first time, so let's get a backup for this fight, and let's let it be Sean Strickland as the backup. Let's pray for that. But do I think he's going to pull out again? No. His teammates do say what happens is he pushes his body to a limit way too far where he gets sick. And, you know, I do kind of see that happening with some UFC fighters. You know, maybe they're just going, and they just don't give their body a rest. And I'm going to say this fight promises someone to get knocked out, man. Absolutely starch. And I'm going to give a little hint right now. I think the person that gets knocked out doesn't live in Australia. That's all I'm saying. For the third fight, we're going to have CEOWD versus Alexander Volkov. This is actually their second fight, with their first fight going in the way of CEOWD. I don't really see this fight really changing up too much unless CEOWD got a big head, because CEOWD is becoming an actor. This is going to give us a tell if he's really about it or he's 1 foot out the door already. And this fight card really confused me with this last fight on the main event. We have Alexander Rakic coming off a knockout loss to Yuri Prochazka, which is crazy because before then, he never really fought. He took a big hiatus. But the person he's fighting is confusing me because he's fighting Ankalaev. He's fighting Ankalaev. Mr. I try to call the decision to Alex Pereira and I get kicked out. Ankalaev. He's the #1 contender, taking on someone who hasn't won a fight, I think, since like 2020, which is absolutely weird. I don't know why. It does lead me to believe that Alex Pereira is taking time off, maybe to heal up, spend time with family. Another video is going to come out on what's happening. You know, stuff like that. But if Alexander Rakic is able to beat Ankalaev, that is gonna flip the light heavyweight division belly up, because that is gonna be absolutely confusing with Alexander Rakic maybe the #1 contender after beating Ankalaev, because Ankalaev hasn't beat anybody, just Johnny Walker, you know. Yet he's still the #1 contender. I don't know if he beats him. That's gonna be an interesting matchup. I do see the UFC robbing Ankalaev if he does win against Rakic, just because I do feel like they want to make that matchup with Tom Aspinall or John Jones if John Jones chooses to stay. This card will also be taking place in Abu Dhabi, so we're gonna have to stream the fight very early, boys. Guys, remember, 50 subscribers and we'll get a watch party going. You know, it seems like the UFC really loves Abu Dhabi, because if you pay attention to the other cards, they don't get as much love as Abu Dhabi, which is kind of weird, but nonetheless, thank you for the good nights of fights. But also, guys, leave it down in the comment section below if you think this card is a banger like I think it is, because I think it's a really amazing card. I will be replying to all the comments down below, so make sure to comment, guys. Also, guys, make sure to watch my last video on why KSI pulled out of his fight due to an injury. He did announce that. It's going to be linked in the description below, and also it's going to be in the corner right here, one of these two corners. But lastly, fight fans, make sure to uppercut that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.